You've invested in data tools and super good talents, but your data architecture still isn't delivering. Let's explore why that happens so often. I'm Toni, and today I'm sitting down with Dennis from Hamburg data team. And yeah, Dennis, please introduce yourself briefly.
Yeah, sure. I'm Dennis. I'm Director Data Architecture and Data Engineering here at Deconium Hamburg. And I'm responsible here with my team together to design and implement data platforms for organizations and data platforms that are scalable, reliable, and built for change. And I would say what I care most about is to make architecture practical and not just being some nice diagram in a PowerPoint slide.
Mm-hmm. So today we want to focus a bit at why data architectures fail. But before we start, we need to go back a bit, and you should tell me a bit of your own understanding of a data architecture in general, that we are on the same level, please.
I think data architecture is not just about tools and technology, it's about decisions. It describes how data flows through an organization, how data is structured and governed, and who owns the data. And I think in the end it's a system of, let's say, technical and social agreements that makes data trusted and useful in the end.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned social stuff. So I guess a company's culture is also very important in the whole process.
That's completely right. So I think this is like a huge factor. If you don't have the culture, the data culture within a company, you can have like the greatest tech stack in place. But if you're not able to answer questions like who's responsible for the data set, where does the data come from, how it's governed, and how we are able to make sure that data is trustful, then the greatest tech stack is not something that will cover this, right? So you have to have this culture within the teams. And I think this culture will fill the gaps in some data architecture diagrams that will help you to put everything into place.
So maybe you can even be a bit more specific. What are the top issues you see in the day-to-day work base? Why most data architectures fail in client projects, for example?
I think the most important part is that you don't have this data culture in place. I think this is a main driver here. If you are focusing on just purely on technology and keep that data culture out of sight, then you will lose in the further course, like the team, the stakeholders, to trust the data. And you have to make sure that the data that is produced, that is someone is owning that kind of data, someone is responsible for the data. And with that, you can definitely create some clarity and transparency on that.
Do you see clear responsibilities in other companies about the responsibilities regarding data ownership, or do you see a lack of responsibility?
I would say I think it's a mixture. So I think most companies are on a really good way to put that really into the focus, like data ownership. But for sure you have like projects where you create like the ideal case when it comes to data architecture, but it does not or is not in line with the real world. And when you then bring in the stakeholders or team members and they are explaining to you, what you have designed here in this nice PowerPoint is looking good, but it does not reflect the real world, then you have like a big issue here. Yeah.
So now imagine following situation, a company's leadership team looks more in detail at the data architecture and realizes it's not working out how we expected it to work out. And maybe some employers are complaining about different parts of it and it's just not right in place. Do you think you could or we could fix a failing data architecture, or is it too late and you should start completely from scratch?
I think starting from scratch is always the worst possibility. I think when you're able to change how people work, right? Again, focusing on this data ownership part, I think then the tech stack will adapt to that, right? So I think most data architectures fail because you don't have this kind of data culture in place. And if you're able to introduce that or like even strengthen that, then I think it's an easy fix that you can then adapt that technical part to it. When your, let's say, technical part and infrastructures are historical grown and no one trusts like how it's working because it's always failing, or the colleagues are not trusting the data anymore, then maybe it's a better way to start from scratch.
And do you think when addressing a data architecture, is there a blueprint useful, or do you think it's a super individual thing regarding every different company?
I think blueprint is always useful. It let's say, defines like the guardrails, right? So, and again, it's not just technical, but you also have to see the cultural part. And when you have that in place and you define like standards that everyone agrees on, you are always on a good way. So if you have like the team and the people behind you defining, okay, what is a good standard, it's half of the requirements that you would need for blueprint.
Could you give me a concrete example on one standard, just for example?
I mean, a good standard is talking about like quality, right? So what is good quality? How is it defined? And if you ask person A, it will give you an answer. And if you ask a person B, it will probably give you another answer. And I think the challenge is to bring everyone together and define a common standard that everyone is agreeing on. And I think what you also have to watch out for is to evolve these kind of standards. So imagine your data platform changes, or people changes working on a project or on some data, and you have defined standards for that. You should also adapt the standards to it.
Yeah, and which major issues do you encounter maybe regularly or in a recent client project that still surprise you?
I think it's like this kind of gap between ideal cases and real world, right? So again, when you're sitting together with other data architects and you're defining some nice tech stack in a diagram, and you're taking this kind of idea, maybe you already have defined also like data ownership, for example, and quality standards, so you have like the full package. And this is like the ideal case, and you go with that into the implementation phase, and you maybe bring in other stakeholders. You will probably find out, okay, we haven't thought about that, or this is not the reality reflected in this ideal case. And I think this is always a pitfall where you have to look out for.
So what's your top personal advice to the leadership team of a company who wants a future-proof, solid data architecture that lasts as long as possible?
As long as possible, yeah. So I would say that you should treat the data as a product company, right? So make sure data is owned by someone. Someone is responsible for the data set. And if you are able to to define standards, if you're able to adapt these standards when something changes, and your data architecture is also built to change, then I think you're on a good way.
Okay, thank you, Dennis, for sharing some insights about data architecture and how to fix it.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, and yeah, see you all next time. Have a
Thank
great
you.
day, and bye-bye.